The spotlight is once again back on the Boeing's Dreamliner fuel control switches. The same switches that came under global scrutiny after last year's deadly Air India crash in Gujarat that killed 260 people. Now, Reuters has reported that Indian aviation safety officials will travel to Seattle to personally monitor Boeing's testing of fuel switch module removed from an Air India 787 aircraft earlier this year. The module was taken out after pilots operating a London-to-Bengaluru flight reported an unusual issue during engine startup. According to reports, the fuel switches did not consistently remain locked in the run position during initial attempts, something that immediately raised safety concerns because these switches control fuel flow to the engines and are specifically designed to prevent accidental movement. Why is this significant? Because preliminary findings in the last year's Air India crash suggested both fuel control switches may have moved almost simultaneously, cutting off fuel supply to the aircraft engines. Although Boeing and Air India have both maintained that the switch module later passed inspection and was found fully functional. India's DGCA still wants additional testing conducted under direct supervision in Seattle, and that tells you how sensitive this issue has now become. With India's final crash investigation report expected soon, the outcome of these tests could become extremely important in determining the cause of Ahmedabad tragedy. On this issue, I am joined by Captain Amit Singh, aviation expert and former Director Flight Operation Air Asia. He joins me live from Italy. And I am also joined by Captain Prashant Dhalla, former Flight Operation Inspector DGCA. Let me straight away go to Mr. Singh, who joins me directly from Italy. Sir, why is this an important, I would say, visit, and why is it happening?
The fuel control switches were put into focus by the preliminary report. They were a cause of concern, yes, on the 737s, and the same part also carries on in the 787s and other aircrafts. So, Air India should have ideally done a preemptive check rather than wait for DGCA to tell them to do a check. But the recently released documents of the China 737 crash, the flight data recorder records a similar fuel control switch cutoff simultaneously, both of them, at 29,000 feet. So is this coincidental, or is this something to do with the fuel control switch? Now, Air India 132, which is in focus now, in February, this was an issue. Reuters has reported it today, and the Reuters also carries on to say that the UK authorities initially probed it. But that is factually incorrect. I've had conversation with the UK authorities, AIB, and they said they just asked for information, nothing beyond that. And they are not aware of any testing which has been done on the switches. Now, the switches are made by Honeywell, not by Boeing. Boeing has the design authority because they have integrated different parts from different vendors. So as far as Boeing is concerned, they don't have any speciality or any data on the control of switches or design of the switches. It is Honeywell which is going to do it, and it should be ideally done by Honeywell. If not, then a joint team of Boeing and Honeywell. Now, there are a number of court cases going on in the US wherein they have accused Honeywell and Boeing of the faulty design. And probably this is just a strategy to send it to Boeing along with a DGCA person to oversee it, because in the past we have seen the email exchanges in the Boeing 737 MCAS issue where Boeing has clearly said that they can get away with anything as far as DGCA India is concerned. So basically, it is just a cover operation, and they could say that in the presence of DGCA official, the switch was tested. So this is not a transparent investigation. I had written to the AIB, the Director General of AIB, in February, that since the investigation of Air India 171 is being carried out by AIB, and this is a material evidence, so the evidence should be collected by AIB and then investigated as a part of AI 171. However, they have not taken it into consideration, and DGCA is probing. DGCA itself is under investigation of their role of oversight, etc., of the Air India 171. So how can they carry out the tests and give a report? So it should be AIB who should ideally do it. So the ends of the story don't tie up together. So it is kind of looks like a cover-up, just to give indication that we are doing something.
Okay, Captain Dalla.
Well, I was listening to Captain Singh very patiently. It is very important for the viewers to understand two major aspects. One is the Air India 171 crash, which took place about a year back. The report is about to be published by the respective regulatory bodies. The other is the concept of the fuel control switch, which the Boeing 737 or the 787 is, under scrutiny. I would like to give full marks to the Indian DGCA that this proactiveness of being, able to have the oversight on the jurisdiction matter of a different state. You see, we must understand three major aspects. One is the manufacturer, other is the operator, the third is the regulator. Now, if we say that the manufacturer and the operator are in sync, they're trying to have a shady investigation or a cover-up, you need to have a regulator who will do the proper oversight. It is a proper regulatory legal process which is being adopted. Now, whatever the outcome be, if they say that the outcome of that particular test will be part of the major report of the Air India 171 crash, which primarily focuses on the fuel control switch, then that is a separate matter. As of today, if any kind of an activity, any kind of a check is being taken place for the fuel control switches, the regulator must be there in a different jurisdiction. The cause of action of this particular accident took place in India. Subsequently, like Captain Singh just mentioned, that there was another Air India pilot who made a report that the fuel control switch are misbehaving. Again, the cause of action is in India. However, the test is carried out by FAA bodies, by Boeing, which is a different subject matter, and DGCA is trying to be proactive, and they are trying to say to the different US authorities that we will not be silent. We have to be made part of this investigation, and whatever be the outcome of the report, it is a very green signal taken by the government of India, and they are very proactive. And a strong message has been sent to the US authorities that we will not be silent. We will not keep sitting back. We will be part of this investigation. You have to keep it in the public domain. And I also would like to thank all the pilot bodies. They have written it to the AIB and to the DGCA that all the data should be kept in the public domain.
Okay. Captain Singh, you can respond to what Mr. Dhalla has said, but my question is slightly different. Do you think there is lack of transparency when it comes to these big airline operators and manufacturers? It's not as if certain defects have been noticed in certain airlines, but the process itself has been so slow that they just get away with it.
Yeah, as far as Air India and DGCA, their relationship.
No, I'm talking about Boeing. I'm talking about those international. I'm talking about those who manufacture the planes. They can get away with the defects. They can get away with a lot of things because it's like two companies who have monopolized the entire market.
So, like Boeing is manufactured in the US, so the oversight is by the FAA. And as per Indian regulations, DGCA India has to independently evaluate a new aircraft. DGCA India currently does not have the capability to independently evaluate. So what they do is, by default, take FAA's certification. Or if it is an Airbus, they take EASA, the European certification, and they say that it is deemed certified and safe.
Yes.
Just because they have carried it out and given a green chit. So we need to develop our capabilities if we have to manufacture an Indian aircraft. The only country in the world which had information on MCAS on the Boeing 737 and was training the pilots was Brazil. And FAA, along with the Brazilian authorities, had developed a training curriculum. So why didn't they inform the world about it? Why was the world kept in dark? because Brazil had the capability to develop an aircraft, they manufacture aircrafts. Similarly, India, we don't have institutions at the foundation level which develop such professionals who have the capability to do that. HAL will have, but there is no communication or joint effort by the Air Force authorities, HALs, the civil bodies, to jointly develop a forum or a body which can carry out these complicated certifications of new aircrafts. The 350s or the 787s are such modern technology, the future generation, and look at the capability of the regulator. They are still catching up. They are decades behind. So we have to jointly develop the institutions to be resilient, and the anti-fragility factor is that if you break and come back, it is good, but you have to learn from it and build on it. So that is not happening. We are not learning from the lessons.
Absolutely, and there is also another aspect, Mr. Dalla, why is it taking so much of time for the report to be filed? Is it unusual, or does it really take more than 10 months?
Well, the process of laying a report and making it public is a very tedious process. There are going to be multiple stakeholders involved. Very senior pilots are now, acting on that report as subject matter experts. However, I would really agree 100% with what Captain Singh has said, that though we are the third largest in the world in terms of aviation, the infrastructure in terms of the training, in terms of the proper subject matter experts in the government bodies is very much lacking. There has to be an increase of the interactions with the operators, so much so with the regulator also. And if we really intend and aim to build an aircraft in the coming years, and see India as one of the top countries in terms of aviation, we really have to buckle up.
Because Mr. Dalla, of late India has witnessed some very tragic accidents. In one of the accidents, Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra passed away.
Very right, sir. It is a very dynamic concept. You see, you will have SOPs in place, you will have procedures in place. However, the training is something which we really lack. We need to buckle up in terms of the right proper training. These standards have to be increased. And like I say, this is a very welcome move as part of the regulator is concerned. We have to be present there in their soil, in their jurisdiction. You see, so thus the officers, the safety SMEs have to have the right proper involvement, and I'm sure they will try and sabotage the report, as it is a different subject matter. Thus, the involvement of the Indian DGCA, AIB officials has to be done there in terms of their training and testing, and that would really be taken in a very positive note by the entire public. For all this, for the sake of your viewers, also, this is a very normal exercise wherein the regulator will handhold the operator and take them to the manufacturer and try and get the solutions to what all effects are taking place in their aircraft. So India is also trying to send a strong signal, a message that it is not the FAA which is the supreme body. Indian DGCA has their own jurisdiction. They're also a member to a contracting state, and let's see how things come out in future.
Absolutely. On this note, I would like to thank both of you. It's an important visit that is happening. We can have different opinion on it, but the fact of the matter is people should know. It's incumbent that what happened to that fatal Ahmedabad flight. It's very, very important, because that's the way there will be probity, and transparency will lead to justice.